it up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Street Talk family, you have heard that theme song, and you know it is time for me to say greetings to my Street Talk family all over the globe, because we are on the World Wide Web and we communicate with you as long as you are on YouTube, Facebook, or Alexa. And we come to you from right here in the beautiful federation of two islands and one lovely paradise. Remember, I said 1 multiplied by 2 equals 1. And I still stand by that. So let me say good night to St. Kitts and Nevis. I must say good night to the entire Caribbean region, and I must also say good night to the world, the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora all over the world. I know that some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning, and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings is applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And for the first timers, I must welcome you and pray and hope it won't be your last time. And like I said, if you enjoy what you hear on Street Talk, tell it to the whole world. If you did not, come tell it to me. So for the first timers, I welcome you, beg your pardon, and to thank all those who continue to share the link. Because whenever you do share the link, we get first timers. And I must inform our first timers that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And we come to you, for the first timers, every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. And we welcome you once again. As your host, I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I'm always reminded by the words of a favorite hymn of mine written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. And the excerpt goes like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let's seek the courage needed, our high calling, to fulfill that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. To my Straight Talk family, especially the first timers, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never tried to make it more interesting, neither by omission or by exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we will always lean on the facts, as it's my bounden duty to present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, integrity, wherever we are in this globe. Because the program joins us together with people all across the Federation, all across the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, this program joins us together with people all around in the diaspora, all around the world. Some we know very well and have met. Some we do not know and may never ever meet. And some will disagree. Some will agree with the positions of truth we advance. Whatever it's your position, that's fine, because we entertain and promote diversity. But I must hasten to tell you that I'll be saddened if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God for blessing or helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let's therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing His praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who share the link. As you bring first-timers, please continue to do so. And I must inform my first-timers that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we will include your calls, we'll include your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screen. If you're one who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform. That address as well is on your screen. Straight Talk Patches, that's one word, at gmail.com. And those of you who have the Alexa app, you can access Straight Talk via this app as well. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and you are tuned in. Thanks to my brother who gives us this access at a nominal cost. And as I say cost, there's some of you who have made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk. And I say a big, big thank you. I must also reassure you that no matter how small your contribution is, it helps. It helps us to continue this important service. It's a public service. And others who wish to donate can simply scan that code on your screen. Scan that code, and you'll access a payment form. It's a very simple process. It won't even take you 2 minutes. But thanks again for your support. Thanks in advance for those who will support someday. But whatever your support, level up your support, it helps us to keep the dialogue alive. I must welcome my Straight Talk Young Big Brigade. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, Neymar, and Soraya, and that special lady in St. Louis. For those who wonder why I have to do this, I have to. Because these young ones, I meet them some. I am not at liberty to call their names because I haven't got parental consent. But my Straight Talk family, on a sad note, I heard the news, sad news of young Antoine Mills, who died in the wee hours of this morning in a fatal traffic accident. I saw this little boy, Antoine, grow up into a responsible young man who walked in the footsteps of his father and Master Mariner Captain Prince Mills, known for his pioneering work in the passenger ferry operations between St. Kitts, Nevis, and at one time between St. Martin and St. Kitts. He also plied on another occasion, on another period, the route between Antigua and Montserrat. Young Captain Antoine was a son, was gone to the great beyond, and we pray that his soul may rest in peace. I spoke to his father and my true friend and brother Buns early this morning when I got the news. And all I could have told him is to be strong, my brother, as death is just a process. What else could I say? Because it is only he who feels it. And only he who feels it knows it. So on behalf of the Straight Talk family and my own behalf, condolences are extended to Captain Mills, Buns, Prince, whatever we call him, and his entire family, his brothers, his sisters. And there may be others who have lost loved ones as well. I may not have heard of, may not be aware of, and to them, condolences are also extended. And may the souls of our departed ones rest in eternal peace. As a public service announcement, I must inform the Straight Talk family as well that the Nevis High Court will be operating, beg your pardon, from its temporary location at the RG Solomon Arcade, the top floor that is, as of Monday coming, Monday the 17th of March 2025, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Mondays to Fridays. So the general public is asked to take note of this change. We know that there's mole infestation, the original location there at the High Court in Charlestown. So it's temporarily being relocated to the RG Solomon Arcade, the top floor of the RG Solomon Arcade, as of Monday coming, Monday 17th, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please be guided accordingly. I also got a notice from the SKNIS. I saw in an SKNIS press release sent to me, and learned that the Honorable Iselin Philip was the CSW 69 Ministerial Roundtable panelist at the United Nations. Yesterday, March 12, 2025, Senator Philip served as the ministerial representative of the group of Latin America or Latin America and Caribbean states, Latin American and Caribbean states, on the course Regional Ministerial Roundtable held as part of the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 69, which is underway at the United Nations headquarters in New York and will conclude on the 21st of March 2025. Representatives of member states, UN entities, and ECOSOC accredited NGOs from all regions of the world were invited to attend the session. And the main focus of the 69th session is on the review and appraisal of the implementation of and the outcomes of the Beijing conference, I think it was. And the review included an assessment of current challenges that affect the implementation of the platform for action and the achievement of gender equality and the empowerment of women and its contribution towards the full realization of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And then we move into our observations in review, which are an integral part of Straight Talk. And following our observations, we will include your calls and your emails, and we allow you to have your say. And yes, we'll also move right into our thesis, which I have titled for tonight, People Cannot Wait for the Next Election. So don't you move, don't you change your platform, don't change your link, just spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Alexa. And our first observation, recall we raised the issue before with respect to our long-standing relations with Cuba and the medical health assistantships, I call them, from which our country has benefited extremely over the last several decades. But recall as well that the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced restrictions on visas for both government officials in Cuba and others or any others worldwide who, as they put it, are complicit with their overseas medical assistance programs. And this is what Marco Rubio, a son of a Cuban immigrant himself, he had this to say, my Straight Talk family.
The final question, and I think it's a very good place to answer. Do you see yourself as the representative of the United States government ever going to Havana?
Well, first of all, I have no intention of going to Havana with this regime in place other than to discuss when they're going to leave. That regime is a disaster. It's destroyed the country. It's turning Cuba into a nursing home. Sadly, the only people that don't leave are the ones that are too old or too sick to leave. They've lost 10-12% of their population just in the last 3 years. They're incompetent and they're evil, that regime. And they're also a threat to the United States. They've invited China to open spy bases. They invite Russia in. They're partners with Iran. They just joined a partnership with South Africa to support Hamas at the expense of Israel. That isn't a government, that is a regime that is hostile to the United States. And so until that changes, there's nothing for me to talk about with them.
Very interesting perspective. But the silence of Terence Michael July, our Prime Minister, who in fact benefited from free education in Cuba, his silence is deafening. it is as if he is ashamed to be identified as a doctor who studied in Cuba. Because you've heard him most times, he only refers to his specialization in the United States of America. And I'm sure you would have recognized that. But thank God for leaders like Prime Minister Mayor Amar Motley, who always stands on principle. And Mayor Motley never minces her words. She said this.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. Now, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
I call her the Caribbean Iron Lady. And I'm sure we all concur that we don't have to shout, but we just have to be resolute. Come out of the woodwork, Prime Minister July. Principle only means something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. That's what you said. So what we need is principled leadership from our Prime Minister. Street Talk has not heard anything further from DPP Adlai Smith or the Commissioner of Police James Sutton. But we must remind them that the country is still awaiting the ultimate findings regarding the killing of young Dr. Simonette Williams. Remember, earlier, the Director of Public Prosecution said it was not a pressing matter. He said that. But remember as well, it is still of interest to many. So the country is awaiting an update to your last report, Mr. DPP, which you gave us almost 1 month ago. Remember you said this.
I wish also to provide an update on the investigation into the tragic death of Dr. Simonette Williams, which occurred as a result of a traffic accident in December of 2024. The case remains under active investigation, and I have received the official autopsy report, which is now under careful review by myself and the non-resident accident reconstruction expert who was assigned to this case. Additionally, I'm currently in discussions with the said expert who has requested further information to complete his careful analysis. That information is in the process of being supplied to ensure a comprehensive assessment of the circumstances surrounding this incident. I encourage the public to remain patient as this intricate and sensitive investigation progresses. Resolving this matter would have been more straightforward had additional members of the public come forward with pertinent information. The circumstances surrounding Dr. Williams' passing necessitate a careful and comprehensive examination, and I will ensure that all available and relevant evidence is fully considered before making any determinations.
Imagine, since December 2024, 3 months ago, and as the day or days pass by, the country gets more suspicious. We don't even know if a zombie was behind the wheels of that vehicle that was apparently driven. I say apparently because we don't know what type of vehicle, if it was driven remotely, we just don't know. And my first observation for those who continue to call and ask me why I have not spoken on desalination for some time now. But let me reassure you that Straight Talk is still following the construction of the desalination plant, smack in the middle of the Caleb Azariah Paul Southwell Industrial Site in East Basseterre, and against the full display of the characteristic arrogance of the so-called engineer Conris Maynard. We've seen the holding tank that's going up. That's where the holding tank for the water that would be desalinated, right next to those fuel tanks. And my Straight Talk family, in the face of quality concerns raised by residents of East Basseterre, who are expected to consume the water, I included, construction of this plant continues in the middle of the industrial site and the busy harbor, the busy port, right next, my Straight Talk family, right next to the Sol and Delta bulk installations. Right next to them, my Straight Talk family. The evidence is there. And my Straight Talk family, we are concerned and we will continue to be concerned because, like I said, the holding tank, look at where it's located. And my Straight Talk family, the work is being done by a Toronto-based Canadian company that was awarded the contract. And we have nothing, we hold no breach against the company. But this work could not have been started, rather, without community consultation and approval in Canada. But the people of East Basseterre must step up their game. And in cases like this one, we should consider filing a prohibition order, if that's what it's called, in the court, and stop the work until we get answers. I know it may cost, but somebody must have the wherewithal to help us to do that. Because we need to stop this pregnant head, so-called engineer Conris Maynard, who exudes an arrogance that is not only shameful, but also unprecedented in a democratic society. In a democracy, leaders are typically expected to be accountable, humble, and responsive to the people they serve. First, he violates, my Straight Talk family, the Procurement and Administration Act, even though he said this.
There were 3 proposals before the procurement board considered in an emergency situation. 3 of them were considered, and the Royal Utilities won the procurement bid. So this went through procurement.
What a lie, my Straight Talk family. The so-called engineer is like Christopher Columbus, a liar. I dare Congress Maynard to tell the country the names of the 2 other companies that submitted bids. He cannot. And if he can't, then Congress Maynard will remain like Christopher Columbus, my straight talk family. Remember, it was Bounty Killer who said this?
Christopher Columbus is a plastic lion. Christopher Columbus is a plastic lion. And yes, Jack, he's a liar.
Yes, he's like Christopher Columbus, according to Bounty Killer, damn blasted liar. It cannot be disputed that this plant should be located in a more stable, less traffic area. Move away from all those oil tankers, all those cargo ships, all those cruise ships that come into the port. There's Potato Bay off Bird Rock. And there's another bay, my straight dog family. There's another bay east of the cargo pier, west of the Dolphin Park, around there in Bird Rock, my straight dog family. Why couldn't this plant be located in this area? There are no oil tankers there. There are no ships going over there. That was an area. We went, as small boys, we went around there on the rocks to pick wilks. All we are saying, why couldn't you put that desalination plant in an area like this? That's all we're saying. But they don't care, as they gave the people of Kean water that burns the eyes whenever they take a shower. Ask Chocolate, my friend. He will tell you.
So I went Kean this morning to drop off something for somebody, right? My partner tell me he glad water come back, but when he beat it, the water burning here. He look like Liburd Kean people, salt water to be. The man say every time he beat it, he face a button. I labor high for them here.
And my straight talk family, who knows what may happen over time? Will they give the people of Bird Rock chemical poison from this desalination plant? That has to be a fair question. And that's all the people are asking about. And my straight dog family, there was another observation. I thought I had posted it. It's about a lady who kept calling me and informed Straight Talk that she has retired since January last year and for hell cannot get her money, a gratuity and a pension. Understand that the files are on the desk for many, on the desk of the Minister of Finance, Terence Michael July. We are pondering, we are speculating. Isn't there any money? Is the government broke? Why aren't you paying those who have spent their years in the service and are ready to move on? So they said you get $20,000, $22,000 or more each month. And her gratuity may just be about that, which she has to use and have no money. So I'm raising a red flag here on behalf of those who retired from the public service and cannot get their pension and their gratuity. But those are my observations in review tonight. And my Straight Talk family, I'll move right into my thesis, which I have titled, like I said, People Cannot Wait for the Next Election. And when you browse social media or read the local newspapers, the local journals, or you listen to the talk shows on radio or television, it sounds like people are feeling a sense of anticipation or impatience, waiting for the next election to bring about change or bring about a resolution to many problems that exist under this July administration. This is happening because people feel like the current situation is not meeting their needs or expectations. So they look to elections as a way to voice their frustrations or bring about a change in leadership. Waiting for the next election feels like a moment of hoping for change or a fresh start. It reminds me of one Ira McMahon, whom I have not seen or heard for a long time and hope that he's well. But as a strong proponent of good governance and transparency, McMahon always advocated that it is more practical to keep changing our vote until we get the change we really want. And that's his strong view, very, very strong view of Ira, who said this.
I think it is more practical to keep changing our vote until we get the change we want. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The fact saying that you change until you get the change you want.
Yes, change, he said, until you get the change you want. To me, that is a powerful expression that emphasizes the importance of persistence and adaptability in the pursuit of actively working towards or striving to achieve meaningful transformation. It suggests to me that in order to achieve the desired outcome, we may need to repeat or to repeatedly adjust and reevaluate our efforts, my Straight Talk family. Because of all the disappointments in the current administration, some of you have told me that you're not going to vote again. But I'm very concerned with that position. So I want to implore you tonight. I'm going to beg you here and now, instead of giving up because we are faced with certain challenges, think of what Ira McMahon said, and let us strive to change the change until we get the change we need. He's advocating for continuously refining our actions and strategies until we achieve the change we seek. It is about staying committed to the goal, even if the path to it requires constant re-evaluation and alteration of tactics. I saw something for the first time when new Premier of Anguilla swore to an oath of allegiance to the people. Mrs. Cora Richardson Hodge, the new Premier of Anguilla, swore to an oath of allegiance to the people. And this I saw for the first time and was very impressed.
Today is a momentous occasion for us here in Anguilla. You would have just heard all of the members who have been elected on behalf of the Anguilla United Front gave the oath of allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And today, this afternoon, we will also give an oath of allegiance to the people of Anguilla. I, Cora Richardson Hodge, Premier of Anguilla, together with the ministers of my cabinet, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the people of Anguilla and will well and faithfully serve them in office which I hold. I undertake with my ministers at my side to do the work that improves the standard of living for our people, embraces and respects our island's history and culture, strengthens our democratic frameworks so as to allow our people's voices to be heard, and to continue building an Anguilla of which at home and in the diaspora can feel proud. We, the members of the Anguilla United Front, commit to serving with integrity, honesty, and with the highest ethical standards. So help me God.
Premier Richardson Hodge made an oath to remain loyal and dedicated to the welfare and interests of the people she intends to serve. It signifies a commitment to act in the best interests of the citizens, uphold their rights, and work towards the common good. This oath emphasizes integrity, responsibility, and the duty to serve the public with honor and respect, rather than serving personal or partisan interests. It's a pledge to prioritize the well-being and values of the people above all else, something the people of St. Kitts has not witnessed coming from our Prime Minister and his team of experts for nigh 3 years. The July administration, my Straight Dog family, is about themselves, or are about themselves, as evidenced by bold commitments of the appointed Senator, Iselin Philip, who said this, my Straight Dog family.
The reality is, under the former administration, there was nothing. There was nothing happening, Madam Speaker. And you know, I had a student loan, Madam Speaker. Thanks to God for this job, I was able to pay off that student loan most recently. Celebrate that for me.
Imagine, Iselin Philip has the audacity of this unelected woman thumbing her nose in our faces and asking us to celebrate for her paying off of a student loan. Could you imagine that? What we have is an unclean government that is corrupt, inefficient, and or dishonest. It operates in a way that lacks transparency, integrity, and accountability. This government practices bribery and favoritism, where officials use their power for personal gain rather than serving the public interest. There is a definite lack of ethical or moral standards in governance and a plethora of failed policies. Examine the failed housing policy of this administration, my Straight Dog family. Exactly 1 year ago, on the 14th of March 2024, Brian Singh thanked July and his cabinet for giving East Coast Housing Development the opportunity to undertake this housing project. Singh also thanked his bankers, the CIBC, and promised to roll out this development as of April 2024, almost a year ago. He promised that people in St. Kitts will never be homeless again, my Straight Dog family.
I want to recognize my local bank, my bankers, Ms. Ibuna White, country manager of CIBC. That's to tell you how strong we are in the island. We are really here to stay. So I want to thank you to the Prime Minister, you and your cabinet, and everyone present for giving us the opportunity. So as we forge forward, we will see, come April, at the end of April, we start in the full construction. I have a roll-up plan which I'll be given to the chairman, which he will be public knowledge after the fact. And no one will be left homeless within the next 4 years.
No one will be left homeless. According to the slow student Jeffrey Hanley, there was much collaboration between East Coast Housing Development and the local contractors We have heard differently, my straight dog family. But Jeffrey said this.
The collaboration between our local contractors and East Coast Development Trinidad represents a golden opportunity. The introduction of the innovative concrete form technology is a game changer.
Game changer, my straight dog family. The slow student, beg your pardon, Jeffrey Hanley, came in for high praises from his leader, Terence July, who said this.
I want to take this opportunity to highlight the Minister of Housing, because we made a promise to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that we will build 2,400 houses. We said to them that the houses will be stronger, that they will be able to withstand Category 5 hurricanes. We said to them that they will come with the opportunity for you to extend. We also say that they will come with basic appliances and cupboards and good tiling and all of the other amenities that would make a home fitting for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we were doubted, because if you were not in our position, you would doubt as well. If you were not in the position of East Coast, you would doubt as well. So those of us on the inside, even though the storm was raging on the outside, the storms of doubt and the storm of talking innuendos and the accusations that this is not possible, we did not respond in kind. We said that at the right time, the program and the houses will speak for themselves.
Well, my straight dog family, St. Kitts is the only place where houses speak. And lo and behold, my straight dog family, lo and behold, the houses have not spoken. But 1 year later, as if July put goat mouth on the project, the slow student Jeffrey Hanley told the country about what he called challenges with the construction and delivery of the remaining 2,398 houses. Yes, maths is my strongest weak point, but they only built 2 so far. So 2 from 2,400 leaves 2,398. I stand to be corrected. But the slow student said this, my straight dog family.
As you know, as a country, we engage the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on, and what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But because of the delay, we have not lost any money as a government.
My straight dog family, ask yourselves, why did the slow student Jeffrey Hanley telegraph to the nation that the government has not lost any money, and the Attorney General is looking at the contractual agreement with East Coast Housing Development? Recall that government guaranteed or provided a government guarantee to the tune of $650 million US. for the construction of 2,400 houses. Did someone leverage some of that money? Where is Brian Singh? Come clean, slow student Jeffrey Hanley. Come clean, Prime Minister July. Come clean, Attorney General. Answers need to be provided to the country. Where is Brian Singh? And did anyone leverage any monies from that project? Are questions we are asking tonight. There's also a confused agricultural policy. Heard the agriculture minister spoke about money and trees. Nothing is happening in agriculture. And farmers are crying daily. My straight dog family, farmers are crying daily. And my heart goes out for my friend and farmer. I thought I had this downloaded. I trust and hope I would be able to get it. But my heart goes out for my friend and farmer Solomon Morton, who must be hurting so badly that he has gone publicly to ventilate his pain and suffering under a government that he supports, my straight dog family. I'm afraid, bear with me, my straight dog family. I thought I had that all queued up, but it's not. But it would be important, really, it would have been extremely important for us to listen to the pain coming from a farmer, a strong supporter of the July administration, my straight dog family. And I felt the pain of, we call him Solos. I felt Solomon's pain, my straight dog family. And I wanted you to get part of it as well.
Hi, morning. Just in case you may have any question, let me identify myself. My name is Solomon Morton, and a situation is ongoing that I need to address. And I'm going to address it here, and I'm going to take it right to the top, and I'm going to put it in public domain. Number one, the marketing unit is trying to take stuff from farmers to do marketing. And when the marketing unit take your stuff, sometimes it takes up to 6 months for you to get paid. When they deliver your stuff to the big supermarkets, they take between 2 weeks and a month to get paid. But you're telling me, a small business, you're going to say to them that they have to pay COD, cash on delivery, for a couple $100 when you're willing to let a big establishment run with thousands of dollars for at least a month. But the small farmers that are guaranteed a market for the farmers' produce, you're going to tell them COD. So in other words, you're saying to hell with farmers, right? Because when the small man cannot purchase this stuff and the big one take it, then it's going to take another 6 months to get paid. I don't think that is fair. And seeing that you all, and when I say you all, I'm talking now to who make decisions for the ministry, is making these decisions without considering the effects it's having. Let me gently remind you all, 5 years is coming soon. And you're going to come to ask people for their vote. And you're going to face the penalty because people are not going to stick up with it. You're telling me now, so to hell with small business. If you can't pay on delivery, you can't get anything to put on you can't get anything to run your business. How do you expect the small man to survive? I'm going to send this voice note right to the top, and I'm going to put it in the media domain, because this is insane. This is injustice. This is nonsense. Actually put bullshit. You can't be holding people money for 6 months and say that a small business person who is going to pay you at the end of the week or by the next delivery can't get the stuff. Raise the government for the small man. Raise all your conscience and all your heart. This is one person who's going to fight and fight to the end, so he could prepare for it.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. You've heard it. Pastor Solomon Morton about this small business and the pain he's feeling. He said 5 years soon come. People cannot wait for the next election. There are many Solomon Mortons out there. And I want you to stand firm. Don't back. Don't stay home and say you're not voting. Vote for your future. And it is not just about small business. What it is about is Terence Michael July and his cabinet, who do not care about poor people. And the true measure of power or a good government is the upliftment of its people, especially the most vulnerable. Think of the confused energy policy. 2 gensets that will take 3 years to be procured. So they're forced to rent 6 generators, abandon the solar farm project that their own advisor said it was a good project. No. He's promising a 50 megawatt solar farm. This man got to be sick, don't you think?
We already have commitment for 50 megawatts of solar energy. And I can say today, maybe for the first time plainly, that we have raised the money to start geothermal. We have the money. I'm going to make a declaration very, very soon. I spoke to the Premier of Nevis. If you look at his page, he posted that he and I met. We met to discuss it. The Premier and I, we have met and we have determined, just like the crime situation, this is not going to be a political football.
A confused energy policy. 50 megawatts. And he's found the money for geothermal. Geothermal will cost over $400 million. Where will that money come from? But my Straight Talk family, on top of all of that, this government, like I said, it's not clean. But what can we expect when we have a chief legal advisor and attorney general who comes to us and talks nonsense about natural justice? Who he thinks he's fooling?
Everybody has an opportunity to access natural justice, and the rule of law applies to everyone.
Rule of law applies to everyone? Is that what we're hearing? Remember, he threatened to take away your telephones. He threatened to extradite you, those of you in the diaspora. Yes, you. But they're going to bribe you with an airline ticket and bring you down to vote them back into office. But this Attorney General said he will bring you back and threaten to extradite you. He can't talk about natural justice. Garth Lucifer Wilkin committed a criminal offense. My Straight Talk family.
Maybe Mr. Wilkins should be disclosing what's happened. Maybe Mr. Wilkins should disclose that he had failed to pay Social Security benefits for 15 months on one occasion. on another occasion for 5 months, and another one for about three or 4 months. And all of that is contrary to the law. And it is not a simple matter of just saying, oh, you just pay the fines. Because what you expose yourself to there is criminal action. And isn't this something that should be told to everybody? That if you do not pay your Social Security benefits, you are liable to be prosecuted. You hold yourself up for that possibility.
My Street Dog family, Garth Lucifer Wilkin has no moral authority to be in the office he holds. He should have done the right thing so long ago and resigned. But I know some of you in the diaspora will be enticed by the fact that you will get a fully paid excursion back home, airline ticket and hotel paid for, and you will get to see your family. But think about leaving your family in misery when you return, because that's what's happening now. That's what you did last time around. You left your family in misery when you went back to North America, to the Virgin Islands, to St. Martin, to New York, Canada, from whence you came in the UK as well. When you would have gone back, you left your family and all of us hurting. Like now, no money in our pockets, no water to shower when we get home from work late at night. We can't flush our toilets. Electricity bills are mounting. These are the realities, my Street Dog family. And I speak in particular to those in the diaspora, because they have started their campaigning already. The Sunday went to St. Martin. But think about the realities. So if you cannot resist the temptation, then take the money, as I said before, or take the airline ticket and vote them out. It's only God and you in the polling booth, so they can't know. Vote them out. A bunch of experts are not clean. And so the country is dirty, filled with corruption, and that corruption starts from the top. I told you, the first thing he did wrong was to appoint Attorney General Garth Wilkin, or to appoint Garth Wilkin as Attorney General. The second thing he did was he meaning Terrence July, established a project unit in the Prime Minister's office. Not in Public Works. He established a project unit, beg your pardon, in his office. And the first thing he did, took $5 million from the Treasury and started without procurement the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. What's happening to that project? Then he took another $5.8 million and dished it out to Cash the Allers to procure 1,000 water tanks. My Street Dog family, there's growing frustration with the current administration. And this is leading many to eagerly anticipate the next election, hoping for change and a fresh direction. As public dissatisfaction mounts, the upcoming vote which we hope will come shortly, will likely be a decisive moment for the future of leadership and policy in this country. Let us start to promote unity and inclusivity. Let us get rid of the divisiveness. Let us as leaders promote unity and inclusivity, working towards policies that benefit the broader population, and let us eradicate this polarization. The measure, as I said before, of a good government lies in its ability to uplift the poorest members of society. A government that prioritizes the well-being of its most vulnerable citizens demonstrates true commitment to justice and equality. By focusing on policies that reduce poverty, ensure access to education, healthcare, and basic necessities, a government that can create a more equitable society. And such efforts include direct financial support, job creation programs, improved social services, and equitable access to resources. When the poorest amongst us are empowered, they contribute to the broader economic and social fabric, leading to a more stable and prosperous nation. Ultimately, I say, my Shredog family, ultimately, a government's effectiveness should be judged not by the wealth or influence of its elite, but by how well it serves those who have the least. That is what the country is looking for, and the people cannot wait for the next election. That's my story tonight, my Shredog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls, and I will access your emails as well. And when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, I go to the lines and say good night to my first caller. Call you live.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear.
The quotation. Politicians promise you heaven before election and give you hell after. I repeat, politicians promise you heaven before election and give you hell after. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Give you heaven before elections. Yes, my Shredog family, always welcome your quotations. I go back to the lines and say good night to our next caller. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Brother Pat. Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night, my dear brother.
Good night. Good night to all those in Radio Land listening to update of knowledge, education, and awareness. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you in another sequence 5 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In time to come, there will be a meaning. There is an understanding. There is a code. Okay. Let me move on. First of all, I must say congratulations to the revolutionary change in Anguilla. I like that decree that they pledge to its people. And I hope that they will keep that promises, because promises are comfort for fools. Now you are at the test. Be the test and do the test. Now, if I may move forward, first of all, in respect to my federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, You have mostly uttered my utterance. I don't need to explain that. Everyone heard you. And to build upon that, change is on its way, and change shall come. There is a revolution is yet to come. So, we are waiting for the bell to be ring. We are waiting for the goodness that the people of the Federation of St. Kitts is due. It is due. If the existing government will take up on the challenge that whatever they are trying to sustain the future ruling again, I dare them to call the election now, because we are all ready. You failed the people, and I don't think you should get another chance. One chance is enough. Make that chance that you made, that you promised, and make it work. You fail. Failure. So there is no second chance. Now, like I said, the goodness and the due diligence of the people of St. Kitts is at hand. So people, relax, be humble and peaceful, and remember, vote from your heart. Do not sell your vote. And if your vote being offered monetary exchange, take the money and vote the ass out. I will stop there. I will yield for someone else to come in. I'm not going to be selfish. Thank you for having me. Thank you for hearing me, world, brothers and sisters. Bye for now.
Thank you for your contribution, as usual. Always forthright and to the point. I'll try and juggle my emails in the meantime. Good night, Mr. Liburd. Reads this email. In the coming election, have you considered a four-way coalition team made up of PLP, PAM, NRP, and the Straight Talk Independence Party? It could be called something like Team Together or New Team United. I think it would be hard to beat such a coalition team. Once the election is won, then Team Together would form the government with Ian Patches Liburd as Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Infrastructure and Education. 2. Timothy Harris, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security and Energy. 3. Senator Shanley Gray Brooks, Attorney General. 4. Janice Daniel Hodge, Minister of Tourism and Ports. And 5. Sean Richards, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Culture. Reads that email. Very interesting and thought-provoking email. Good evening, Ambassador. Reads this other email. 3 months after Dr. Williams' death and no one is arrested and charged, it is my instinct that the high official is involved. Reason for the hush-hush. Reads that email. Let's go back to the lines at 9:15. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patrice, Mr. Patrice, good night. How are you?
I am peaceful. So yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm peaceful same way. I'm just listening to you attentively for your, information.
Thank you.
And your strength of conversation. One thing I like about you, Mr. Patrice, that's why I tend to call into your talk show. You have done very much well in your political time. 4 years that you served, 8 years, you have shown some handiworks, and that was Very good of you. And I have two topics, but I want to speak about one first and then maybe call back and talk about the other one. But the one that I want to talk about first is your concern with the distillation plant. And you have a right to be concerned, but I will try to educate you about a situation that with the plant, I think you have to wait a while and do some more homework and take my advice. And then you can come to the people and the homework that you need to do, because we have the same situation here. The desalination plant here is by gases, by Antilles. Those places are places that bring in propane gas and different gas for human reason, you know. And water is right there next to them. And that's the water we consume right by a gas system also, like what is in St. Kitts. But the fundamental conversation should be how far they're going to extend that pipe out to the sea, or how close they're going to keep it to those elements of the gas. So you have to find out in the future how far they extend that pipe out in the sea. If the pipe are not extended a good distance away from those elements, then you have a conversation. So the plant now is in existence, is in construction. Do some more with the research and watch to see how far they're going to take the pipes out or how close they're going to keep it. Then you would have a good fundamental reason to argue and bring it to the people that this water is detrimental to human consumption. Because here, the water is right there by this gas business, but they have a company called 7 Seas that purifies the water. So let me see if they're going to have a viable company that's going to also purify the water so it can be useful for human consumption. And that's my input on that. So I am just giving you a little education on that. That we have the same system here.
I thank you, but let me ask you a question though. What I'm advocating for, right, is a consultation. Don't you think it would be a proper thing if they consult with the people, let the people know what's going on and allay all these fears? Because there's no consultation whatsoever, you know? And
well, that's what I'm saying. Your fundamental, your conversation is very fundamental and it's standard. They should consult the people. They should have a town hall meeting with the people and explain these things to the people.
Okay. Got you, my brother. Thanks for your.
You can't take the people for granted like that. You have to educate the people. What are you doing?
Okay. Thanks for
I will call back. I have a next conversation and I will call back.
Thank you for your intervention. Thank you as well. Always good to hear your caller. Thank you for holding you alive. Hello,
Patches.
My dear brother, that sounds like the major.
Yes, man. This is the major all the time. It has to be the major all the time. Oh, we just want to let them know because some of them others get.
Standardies, major. Standardies.
Okay. Now, what I want to ask you, what is the strongest muscle?
Oh, my.
What is the strongest muscle?
Tell us. Don't
in the human body. You don't know?
Tell us.
What is the strongest in the human body?
Tell us. Don't waste the time. Tell us. Yes.
Well, some people say that is the tongue. Some people say it is the tongue.
I thought it was something. No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. Yes. I thought you would go there. So
some people
say
that.
Didn't disappoint me.
Yeah, okay. But it is hard. It is hard to determine, you know. Yeah, it is hard to determine. Why is it hard to determine? Because it is most powerful because the muscle don't walk alone. The muscle don't walk alone. Huh? No, the muscle do not walk alone. But we do know, Patches, that the tongue is strong. We do know that because it is strong for a small muscle. It can do a lot of damage. What do you think? You listening to me?
I'm listening.
Yeah. It can do a lot of damage. This organ, it helps you to eat. It helps you to swallow. It helps you to taste. It's guilty of flattery, cussing, and lying, and boasting. It also can bring healing to the wise. As it is said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And those who love it will eat the fruit. How sound?
Yeah.
How sound?
You sound intellectual there, my brother.
Well, because of me.
But
After all.
yes, there are other views though, but you're entitled to yours. But
well, what is your view? Give me some. Just give me even one or two.
well,
Give me one or two.
you spoke about the tongue, but and you spoke about eating or chewing, right? But you don't chew with your tongue, do you?
Yeah, no, I did not say anything about chewing. You know.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No, I did not say anything about I said eat and swallow. Eat and swallow.
If you have to chew your food, to swallow it, don't you? No.
Sometimes,
unless you eat porridge. Eat porridge every day.
Oh, it depends on the food. It depends on the food. Because if you're going to use porridge, you're going to
Okay, Major. Thanks.
That's why I said it's just to swallow is a flattery.
Okay, my friend.
And you could even cuss, you just cuss at it. Not you specifically. Not you specifically. But you know, people cuss at you. But if the tongue is thing, you know.
Okay, my brother.
And to tell lies.
Okay.
As to the boss and to boss.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Major. Thanks a lot for your provocative thoughts there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people will think otherwise, but thanks a lot and follow up, Major. Thank you very much. Thank you very much there. That's the Major. Major Jones said the most powerful part of your body is your tongue. Some people say you need your jaws to chew. Well, you have your different views nonetheless. My Straight Dog family, he is going to St. Martin reads this email to meet with nationals of the Federation. But up and now he can't visit Nevis to have a meeting with divisions. But he ready to take away Nevis's birthright. The thermal from them reads this email. Is Dr. July really the Prime Minister for Nevis? Let's go back to the lines at 9:24. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Okay, we seem to have lost a caller. Let's take this other call. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again, Patches. To the major, I am listening to you. And I love you. But to sum this up, the tongue is the most powerful weapon in the world. It's more powerful than nuclear bombs and any other kind of weapon. It is unmatched. Move away from that. The caller before Major, he made a very, very good point, Patches. I mean, on our grounds, prevention is better than cure. And if, instead of going to cure, go to the preventive matters in respect to the desalination plant. But that caller, I must say, and probably it could have been something that ignored, because building that desalination plant so close to chemicals, there is ramification of contamination. But, like what the caller said, let's see when that plant is complete. You know what is the damage control? The extension of the pipes going beyond to sustain contamination. And probably that is the missing link that the sponsors of this plant might have missed. But they got a very, very, very good tip from that caller before Major. So, we got to remain optimistic and we got to be humble and wait it out.
Okay.
But anything happen, how difficult it will be for the new administration? Should they tear it down and it's already erected, or it's only to improve upon moving forward? But caller, before Major, that's a very, very good point, because I never even thought of that. It's how far they will go out with that pipe to siphon that safe water.
Okay.
And where it's stored. Thank you, Patches. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. And we are suggesting that, it could have been in another location. But let's go back to the lines. Hello, caller.
Patches.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Patches.
Yes, you got your equipment on?
No, man, I know equipment down here.
Okay. I'm getting a feedback, but go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna have listen me. I listen to you every Monday and every Thursday. You understand? And what I think that guy from St. Thomas is talking shit. Even around that deep water harbor area, it's still a danger to us. As you say, it should have been around there by Boardwalk Beach area. That there was the ideal place for it. So you're talking nonsense.
Okay.
You're talking nonsense. Pure nonsense. But if he thought he would say anything. He would say anything to protect his party. That's my contribution tonight. I listen to you every Thursday, every Monday, and I just listen, and that boy just irritates me.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for your contribution. I'm getting terrible feedback from your caller. I do apologize for the quality of that call. My Straight Dog family. And good night. Patches reads this other email. Allow me to make these comments regarding geopolitical affairs, which will soon be realized. Patches, many people appear rather surprised to hear President Donald Trump trying to fulfill his campaign slogan, Make America Great Again, MAGA. Patches, I wholeheartedly support Donald Trump's view in making America great again, because a great America means a great Caribbean community. America is the only country we can rely upon, to embrace our family and give them a place to call home once they remain law-abiding. Do you think that it is a coincidence that so many people from all walks of life will risk life and limb just to get to America? Patches, later this year, Donald Trump will break America's alliances with NATO, Europe, and the United Nations, and will form a new alliance named USW BAN, meaning the United States and World Bilateral Alliance Nations. This will come into effect before the end of 2025, and this plan is very much advanced. A minimum of half of the countries of 6 of the 7 continents and Australia, the 7th continent, will be part of this new alliance. Strange as it may seem, Patches, Russia and 3/4 of the Asian countries will be full members of this alliance. 46 of the 54 African countries will be part of this alliance. 33 of the European countries will be part of this alliance. 7 of the 14 South American countries will be part of this alliance. And 3/4 of the North American continent will be part of this alliance, including Canada, as Canada will melt like butter on Donald Trump's hot plate. The Eastern Caribbean is part of the North American continent, but Barbados and Trinidad will not be allowed to join this alliance, including a few rogue countries. Bahamas, Jamaica, Guyana, and the entire OECS will be part of this alliance. Let's be prepared for this change, Patches, as this will be the next new world order. Thank you very much. Very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
9:31, I go back to the Lions call. Are you alive?
Yeah, greetings, Brother Patches.
Greetings sounds like Lungi.
Rascalongi. Greetings. And greetings to the listening audience, those listening at home and those listening in the diaspora, you know. But Granny say again, love one another and respect one another. But Granny say, it's time for us to unite as a people. And Mr. Trump is doing exactly that. You understand? I like to hear how we leadership in the Caribbean responding to Mr. Trump so far. Because the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, when everything else fails to organize the people, the conditions will. And the conditions are here. But let me be, you're talking about elections, right? Is elections due anytime soon? Election will be called before the time?
I would hope so.
Okay. Now, I want to pose a question. Let's say the government change. You think that the political economy, the sluggishness now in the economy, you think it will change?
Well, that depends on policies and the existing world order at the time.
Okay, then. You hear what you said, the existing world order. What you think is so sluggish now? Because of the existing world order. And I'm pointing out to the audience all the time and to the listeners. The reason why we're in this condition is because of COVID. COVID mashed up the economy. I didn't say it. Brother Timothy Harris said so in a press conference. So I just posing that question. That's why I'm saying that we have to unite. No, I'm not saying that the government is not wasting unnecessary money. Don't get me wrong. Right? They do. But the primary cause of this sluggishness is because of the geopolitical situation. You see what I'm saying? So we got to take these things into account. You know, because I'm guaranteeing you, if the government change tomorrow, ain't nothing going to change when it comes to the economy. You see? So I'm saying to our people, we got to be realistic. Now, I'm going to show you another thing again. When the last election, when I had the campaign, right? Timothy was giving $500. Then he said, you're going to give $1,000 if you get re-elected. Labour said they're going to give $1,500. But I know it couldn't happen. No, who much they give now? We're into 50? That's what I'm saying. We got to stop mislead our people.
But that's because of bad management. I mean, poor management of the current leader and Minister of Finance.
Good. No problem. Let's say that is it. Let's say that is the case, right? Let's say that is the case. But what
you can't compare his management capacity to that of Tim Harris's.
Yeah, but the point I'm making, my brother, is that even though you state that is the case, the geopolitical situation is what impacting us most. That's what I'm saying. So no matter how you try to say that based on management, because look here now. Marco Rubio said that Cuba is involved in human trafficking, right? Cuba has helped us so much. That's why the leadership now they realize the service that Cuba is giving to us. As Mrs. Matley said in Barbados, that if you know for them Cuban doctors, we know what happened in the pandemic. So we're looking at things in a realistic way. So that's what I'm trying to show you, and they ain't done yet, you know. That's just the first swipe at us. They ain't finished that yet. Hear what Marco Rubio say, right? He's saying that Russia and all these countries is woke states. But they're negotiating with Russia right now to stop the war in Ukraine. You see, so what I'm trying to show you, these people double talking us all the time. And what I'm saying is that that's the reason why we have to unite. Because if we speak with one voice, they can't do us nothing. You understand? So I'm raising these questions, these things to our people for them to realize what is happening. No, lately, I don't know if you realize it. They're saying that. Go ahead, you go ahead.
Some callers waiting, so I wanted to.
I know.
I like your conversation, but I want to ask you a question, right?
Yeah. Ask your question.
I'm not defending anybody, but I have to bring the facts forward. Because Rubio also spoke about the national security of the U.S. For instance, let's say Panama.
National security of what? National security of what?
Of the United States, right? And the Russians and the Chinese. And I remember they spoke about the Panama Canal. And would it be okay if you were the American leader that the Panama Canal, which is so important to the U.S. and others, right? You had two Chinese operators or two Chinese companies operating each entrance of the canal, running the ports to enter into the canal. Would you be comfortable? You'd be comfortable.
Yeah, but let me say this. But they just by the canal, Blackstone just by the just by them out.
Comfortable for them to be running the canal, the Chinese?
There wasn't running the canal.
They're running the ports. They're running the ports entering the canal.
Exactly.
You control the entrance in and out the canal.
But hear me now. But all the US companies them doing business in China.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
All of them is in China. That's what I'm saying. But that is what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to our people is that these people running a bluff on us all the time. Because look here, I'm calling for black independence in the United States. Black people need to have their own independent country because that country doesn't belong to the Europeans them. So we are calling for independence for black people in America. Not only that, my brother, not only that, Cuba was responsible, right? The main responsible for eliminating apartheid in South Africa when Fidel sent the Cuban troops to Angola to fight against the South African army.
Let's rap for me there, Rascolungi. I'll have some lines.
I'll rap. Yeah. You're familiar with H. Rap Brown, right?
H. who?
H. Rap Brown was a member of the Black Panther Party and the Student Non-Violating Coordinating Committee. H. Rap Brown.
No, I can't speak to that. But,
okay, well, he's a political prisoner in the United States, so we just want to give a shout out to him and Abu Jamal. So we just want to raise these things because a lot of times the United States is
rap for me, please.
Yeah, I'm rapping now. The United States is always accusing people of this. They never talk about black political prisoners in the United States.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm saying, as a rap now, we're going to say we got to unite with one another and love one another. We have to unite, brother.
Yes,
we have to unite. That's the main thing. And stop letting these imperialists running circles around us.
Okay.
Give thanks.
Okay, then. Brother. I understand that. I know at times we give additional minutes to some callers, but the conversation was very interesting, always interesting with Ras Kulunji. He was steeped in his black African knowledge and history. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. I thank you for holding.
Good night.
Good night. That sounds like the Bible man.
Well, the Bible man is here.
How art thou?
Well, Mr. Patrick, I'm fine and wonderful. Now, hear what the word of God says in Psalm 34. It said, this poor man cry, and the Lord save from all his troubles. I will bless the Lord all times. His face shall continue in my. And this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and delivered him from all his troubles. Tonight, as I want to say to you, Mr. Patrick, God is a wonderful God. I want to say that it is good to put your confidence in God. And so, when you put your confidence in the Lord, nobody could play around you. Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver him. That's the next man. But it is so good when you make God your all. And Psalm 37, verse 25, I was young. Now I'm old.
I never saw.
Yet I neither see the righteous forsaken,
nor his seed.
Nor his seed begging bread. You hear the one there?
Yes. Yes, Bible man. Thanks a lot.
Because when you put your trust in God,
yes,
God not let you fail. And he not really see you beg your bread. So I am saying to somebody tonight, put your confidence in God and God alone. And I'm saying to somebody who hear me, do not put your confidence in man. Man is going to fail you. And so, Mr. Patel, if you read Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5, and I ain't going to stop too long.
Please.
If you put your confidence in man, read Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5.
Okay.
And then God is going to, you'll see what's going to happen.
Okay.
That's it. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, the Bible man. I always thank you for what I call your spiritual interventions. Good night, Patches. Has the Trichadadian brand sing disappeared? While this is a valid question, read this email. However, I am concerned about how many tens of millions of dollars have been extracted from the sovereign guarantee that Nevis July provided. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, what's up, man? How you doing tonight, man? Good night to you and the listeners.
I am peaceful. Yourself? What's up with you?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, good evening to you and the listeners home and abroad. Yeah, I just wanted to put the hunch in tonight. Remember what was the big hot topic the whole of last year, right? You remember that? What that was, Patches?
There were so many big topics. What was the one you're referring to?
The MSR saga.
The MSR, okay. Yeah, that's one of the big ones. So he's disappeared. What happened? I told you he was going to disappear. Remember I told you that?
But Patches, you believe he disappeared? I might be telling you right now. I might be telling you contrary.
What you can? Okay, well, I withdraw.
You remember what he said last year, right?
What he said?
He was going to pass on information to the State Department, right?
He's a fake man. What do you think?
But guess where this new threat coming from?
Where is coming from?
The son of a Cuban.
Oh, Marco Rubio?
That threat, and where is that threat coming from? With this Cuban thing, with canceling the visas of our leaders.
That has nothing to do with MSR. What's his name? Felipe.
Yeah, you got facts on that?
Well, I've listened to what Marco Rubio said.
All right, okay.
I played the soundbite for tonight. I played.
It's just a hunch. It's just a hunch I'm putting out there.
Okay.
But anyway, they're not finished yet. Like Kalanji said, this is just the first swing. The Caribbean leaders got to speak as one voice. Don't forget your young Dr. Simon Williams. She was also Cuban trained. Very qualified. The Federation lost a signing star. But our leader is very quiet. And our leaders got to be strong. It's good that those who have spoken up so far did. But we need to voice our opinions and our, collectively as one unit in the Caribbean.
Okay.
We need to bring back that. We probably need to bring back the West Indies Federation. CARICOM got to be straightened up. We need that. We might need that West Indies Federation back. But anyway, man, the Prime Minister got to speak up on this one.
Okay.
When he went up to that UN, the speeches he made thus far, he was loud with the fact that he's a Cuban trained doctor. So why can't he be loud now? Why don't he be loud now?
Okay. I've got you, my
brother.
brother.
What I'm saying? But, I'll leave it there tonight. I'll leave it there simple like that for tonight, man. And, big up to all the callers and the contributors tonight.
Thank you very much, as usual, for your contribution. Patches, good evening. I see that Minister Marsha Henderson is not learning and taking heed. Patches, why Marsha has Little Bo P still running government errands and trying to take charge of persons in her ministry who have degrees when Little Bo Peep went to all 1C in high school? Patches Marsha is giving Little Bo P all the government cleaning contracts, festival contract, and she angry because she did not get cleaning contract for Carnival. This is worse than if Little Bo P has secrets for the minister. But Patches, we have the files, and in due time we will send you to release them, because as long as the minister allows this to go on, Marsha, we do not want you back in Central. You clearly do not love the people of Central because you're treating us like dogs and pattering Little Bo Peep pockets. No matter how much money you give her, she will be begging and borrowing. She worse than beg and borrow. But we in Central will deal with you, Marsha, all the polls. Thank you, Patches. Reads this email. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller?
Yes, Patches. I told you I was going to call back. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to call back in with the next subject I have. Patches, I know you believe in business, right? You believe in developing the country of St. Kitts, right?
Of course, I die for my country.
Okay, and I see that because you had done some great work in your time. Are you there?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, I see that because you had done some great work in your time. But Patches,
I'm humble. No, I said thank you. I'm humble.
Right. Yeah. Okay, appreciate that. There's a talk going around, Mr. Patches, with a new project trying to come into reality over Frigate Bay. A project that one of the Rams, a born Kittitian, but descendants of India. I think he's trying to maybe establish a new hotel over there. And there's an individual who was a part of the Labour government in the past, Mr. Dwyer. He's very vocal and criticizing the construction and the development of the country. And he's been doing that every time it becomes that there's something going to be good for the country, that man has to criticize it. And even when they were trying to extend the pay in your time, he criticized it. He criticized the project. Even though the government trying to give poor people something when they was giving the poor people some money, he criticized it. Why he's like that? He's a Syrian descendant, but he's a born Kittian. But why he don't love the people? I'm thinking, what has he done for this 4 years or the 8 years he was there? There was the hotel that is in Suffolk right now. When he was the minister of tourism, he tried to destroy the growth of the hotel. If it was not for the former Prime Minister Duffy, the hotel would have never built. He had to take away the country, the position from him and give it to Mr. Skerritt. Because he was trying to kill the growth of the hotel in Frigate Bay right now, the big hotel in Frigate Bay. In Frigate Bay. So what's wrong with this guy? He loves the country and he don't love the country. And he don't love the people of the country. Every time there's a development to help the people of the country and to build the country, he always criticizes it. And you know that, Mr. Patches, because he criticizes the dock.
But his issue that I haven't followed it as close as I ought to have done, but his issue is with the golf course and the encroachment on the golf course. Is that okay? To encroach on the
I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Patrick. It's all it is, Mr. Things have to grow. You have to build the country, Mr. Patrick. You have to make investment in the country. You have to create jobs.
Okay.
We have to look at these things. You can't have piece of land that's going grass and going bush forever. Like how we used to be in Bratcher time, poor people don't have the access to their land to build themselves.
The golf course is not just about going grass. The golf course is a tourist attraction as well. I mean,
I understand, Mr. Patches.
You had golf tours.
Yeah, but they are not taking up the whole golf course, Mr. Patches.
Okay.
So, I mean, but you have to look at the growth of the country, in creating investment, creating jobs for young people, to get us out of some kind of poverty, to get employment in the country. This guy always tries to criticize everything that is positive for the country.
Okay.
Where are his heart? He get 2 land from the government, 2 pieces of land from the government when he was a minister in Canary. 2 pieces of land. And some people cannot get one. These guys are no good for the country, man. They need to go back to Syria, man. Have a good night, Mr. Patrick.
Have a good night as well, my Straight Dog family. Well, that's what Straight Talk is all about, you know. Everyone is entitled to his or her view. And this emailer says, last week I was listening to a call-in program out of Nevis. The subject was centered around the leader of the opposition's role in Parliament. Many people were of the opinion that Brantley was more a government backbencher in Parliament, supporting all the government proposals rather than a bona fide active opposition member who will keep the government's feet to the fire. What was very striking, though, is when Mr. McMahon called in and severely criticized Brantley for not performing his duties and role as is required by the Constitution. It was most laughable when the host interjected and said to McMahon, caller, you're saying that an opposition cannot give support to the government? An emphatic no, exclaimed McMahon. That is not what I'm saying. Surely an opposition can give support to government on certain issues. But Brantley is not that opposition leader that we are looking for. He cannot even set up a meeting of the Finance Committee, which he is duty-bound to do in accordance with the Constitution. Mac is so right. You go back to the lines, caller. Thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Greetings.
Greetings, my brother.
Yeah, blessed night, brother Patrick. How you doing?
Ras, I am doing wonderful and peaceful. What about yourself?
I'm here in a Zoom, but I just take a little 5 minutes just to come out the Zoom, just to emphasize what I'm hearing. And good night to your listeners.
You're close to your equipment?
I'm walking away. You can hear me now?
I'm getting a little feedback. I want the whole world to hear us.
You can hear?
Yes, but I'm still getting the feedback in the background there.
You can hear good?
I'm getting the feedback, Ras Aya. I'm getting a terrible feedback.
Can you be hearing I good now?
Go ahead, Ras Aya.
Okay, give thanks. Now, just blessed night to your listeners via Facebook, as they call it, Facebook and YouTube. And I would just like to say to your general public who listening you, until we get rid of the old dirty Freemason plan that we are implying to political aspiration, all people wouldn't rise to be united. And this is the problem where we see leadership come and leadership go because they feel like they can do what they want and that's all. But what we like to ask, when these damage have done to our people generally, we are the benefactors for our people to have a safeguard to the destructive wrongs that have been served against them. When you talk about the disseminated plan that is operation moving up into the border area, a part of the area where you used to carry as technical, where is now supposed to be operation under what they call that company there.
Solid. Or Delta.
Well, it was brought by from Mexico to another company who will operate gasoline.
Solid.
Now, if we're doing a sanitated plan like this, ain't it supposed to be going out to the general public to align what is the damages or the environmental impact will be acquired for our people who live around the area?
Consultation, yes. That's what we're promoting.
Well, we realize only statement made by minister and the prime minister of the administration, but not to align the public with what can be caused in some health factors.
True.
You see?
True.
So, me can't read, I'm glad me can't read it, but me glad me could use my natural ability to know things is not certain for aware of our people when it comes to development. And that's why I say, in everything that we see, we must jump on to because we say, oh, this is something that is creating water establishment. We must be able to go within the natural source where we know how water really is supposed to channel. And not by what we want to force water to channel. And that's why I'm glad me now when the college I tutored them being a lot of wrong direction to make I come here and make our people suffer. Now you in particular talking about the people who they consider as consultants and all this kind of word. You use the word I just say can. That's why we don't want to use the word can because we say this time now we move away from this can artists here who come in amounts and distracting our people from social and spiritual advancement. I'm glad me seeing things in a different light. That's why enough people ain't gonna catch where I'm coming from, but I know. Until we get rid of that mason structure, because it's still heavy on me, think it's as small as we be, as think it's a Nevis. They must find the people them control the affairs of how think it's a need to direct. You people have to unite and dismantle this mason movement, not just in synchronous, the whole wide world.
Okay.
And that's how we'll over the film of how we could align in development for progress. You have a blessed night.
Have a blessed night as well. Thanks for your contribution. Dwyer, I must agree with you. Read this email. There's too much conflict of interest taking place with this new Labour government. As you said, Mr. Dwyer, there is too much talk now about good governance, freedom of procurements, etc. We need action, not mere talking. They criticized the last administration for lack of these same things. And now they are in control, they are doing worse. And without any semblance of shame, corruption is rampant and systemic in this government. Reads this email. This other email reads, "Good night, Patches. Ungratefulness is always worse than witchcraft, and anyone who forget their history will certainly relive it. Patches, the same innocent Cuba that our various leaders have over the years tried to convince us of as good, is the same Cuba who allowed the Soviet Union to erect intercontinental ballistic nuclear missiles on their soil in 1962. These missiles directed at the USA where our people reside, which caused the USA to implement a total naval blockade of Cuba, as Cuba's innocent behavior brought the Soviet Union and the USA to the brink of a nuclear war. After the Soviet Union was forced to remove their nuclear missiles from Cuba, Cuba wasn't done yet, as they spearheaded the overthrow of governments in the Americas. On the 13th March 1979, their plan to replace all of the Eastern Caribbean countries of their right-wing leaders went into effect when Maurice Bishop, with the aid of Cuba, pulled off their first coup of a Caribbean prime minister, when Maurice Bishop overthrew Eric Gary of Grenada and installed the first left-wing government in the Caribbean. The same innocent Cuba then digging their heels as they built a 9,000-foot Point Saline Airport on the 19th October 1983. Bishop was executed by his own cabinet colleagues. During those times, we had real leaders governing our various countries. Our Caribbean-only Iron Lady in both word and deed, Prime Minister Dame Eugenia Charles of Dominica, and her other colleagues, entreated President Ronald Reagan, resulted in the U.S. and Caribbean countries' invasion dubbed Operation Urgent Fury, which rescued Grenada from the tyranny of communism. 11 American soldiers paid the ultimate price to restore democracy in Grenada, thus paving the way for Deacon Mitchell to become Prime Minister 39 years later. America did not colonize Grenada, but allowed them to choose their own government freely. Now these ungrateful prime ministers of the Caribbean have Prime Minister 39 have the audacity, beg your pardon, to be spitting in the face of the USA in support of the wicked government of Cuba. Cuba's only interest is to fulfill their self-interest to keep us subservient to them. Reads this email. This other email reads, potholes. It is unbelievable that the roads were recently resurfaced and there are so many potholes showing up so quickly. The road between just before Bronte Welch Primary School to Ross Vet School are full of them. Was there a guarantee from the contractors against these potholes showing up so quickly? Reads this other email. The Development Bank has branches in Basti and Charleston, but every time the Prime Minister opens his mouth, he focuses on the bank in Basti and not a single word about the bank in Nevis, where the Premier resides. The same thing with Social Security. Dr. Drew will not tell the country how much money the Premier owes Social Security for rent and the deductions taken out of government employees' wages and salaries and not matched with government portion and paid into Social Security. Why is he protecting Brantley with all the shame and scandal surrounding him? Time will tell, reads this email. And I think, okay, this is my penultimate email. Dear Patches, leadership is about standing up for your people, no matter the cost. Prime Ministers Keith Rowley, Ralph Gonsalves, and now Mayor Motley have all demonstrated true backbone, rejecting U.S. pressure and making it clear they will not compromise their nation's health care for the sake of a visit. Motley herself has declared she would sooner surrender her U.S. visit than betray the Barbadian people. And where is Dr. Terence Drew in all of this? Silent, reminiscent of a little boy hiding under his mother's frock during thunderous weather. He covers instead of leading. A doctor himself, yet too timid to speak up as the Cuban doctors are being pushed out of the region. Unlike Bradshaw, who had the guts to defy external forces and famously said, "Let them keep their stinking Yankee dollar," Duke clings desperately to the U.S. privileges, proving his priority is personal comfort, not the well-being of his people. He isn't leading, he's grinning like a schoolboy in a candy store, while St. Kitts and Nevis drifts aimlessly, a ship without a sail. His refusal to act is a national embarrassment, Patches. We deserve a leader with courage and hard cricket balls, not a weakling with tennis balls too afraid to stand up for his own people. And this is my final email, which reads, the caller from New York who plans to run independent. Please let him know that he can't win election by calling all the radio programs. Please let him know he has to be on the ground. Hope he won't promise heaven and when elected give the people hell. And that's the way we're going to end the emails tonight as we wrap tonight's programming. And in conclusion, my Stray Dog family, for those who joined us late, our thesis we titled tonight, People Cannot Wait for the Next Elections. And yes, our quotation was, politicians promise you heaven before election and give you hell thereafter. And that's typical or a good description of the current administration. What we have here is an unclean government that is corrupt, inefficient, and dishonest. The Jew Labour administration operates in a way that lacks transparency, lacks integrity and accountability. It practices bribery and favoritism, where officials use their power for personal gain rather than serving the public interest. There is a definite lack of ethical or moral standards in governance and an oversupply, a plethora of failed policies. Look at the housing policy. 2,400 homes he promised. And he gave his slow student high marks, my Straight Dog family. And we ask, where is Brian Singh? And where are the houses, Terrence Joe?
I want to take this opportunity to highlight the Minister of Housing. Because we made a promise to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that we will build 2,400 houses. We said to them that the houses will be stronger, that they will be able to withstand Category 5 hurricanes. We said to them that they will come with the opportunity for you to extend. We also say that they will come with basic appliances and cupboards and good tiling and all of the other amenities that would make a home fitting for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
So where are the houses? Where is Brian Singh? Has he leveraged or has anything been leveraged from the guarantee, the $650 million guarantee? My Straight Dog family, where is Singh?
As you know, as a country, we engage the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on, and what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But because of the delay, we have not lost any money as a government?
Well, only time will tell. When we open those books, only time will tell if we lost any money. And we have an AG who has the gall to talk about natural justice.
Everybody has an opportunity to access natural justice, and the rule of law applies to everyone.
The rule of law don't apply to Garth Lucifer Wilkin. But my Straight Talk family, I spoke to the diaspora tonight. And I know that some of you will be enticed by the fact that you will get a fully paid excursion back home, airline ticket and hotel paid for, and you will get an opportunity to see your family. But think about leaving your family in misery when you will have returned. Because that's what's happened. That's what's happening now since the last election. People are hurting. No money in their pockets. No water. Electricity unstable. These are the realities. So, my Straight Dog family, if you cannot resist the temptation, take the money, take the airline ticket, and vote them out. Only God and you will be in that polling booth. But this bunch of experts are not clean, and so the country is dirty, filled with corruption, and it starts from the top. The first thing he did wrong was appoint Attorney General Garth Wilkin.
Maybe Mr. Wilkin should be disclosing what's happened. Maybe Mr. Wilkin should disclose that he had failed to pay Social Security benefits for 15 months on one occasion, on another occasion for 5 months, and another one for about three or 4 months. And all of that is contrary to the law. And it is not a simple matter of just saying, oh, you just pay the fines. Because what you expose yourself to there is criminal action. And isn't this something that should be told to everybody? That if you do not pay your Social Security benefits, you are liable to be prosecuted. You hold yourself up for that possibility.
And Garth Lucifer Wilkin should have been prosecuted. Caller, I can only give you 10 seconds, and I'm not giving them more than that. Could you accept that?
Yes. Oh, yes, Patches. That's all I needed, man. Just as well as the citizens lost their visa-free status for Canada, I'm not hoping anything bad on anyone, but if the USA restrict our leaders with this threat, then we will see how they will feel when they lose their access to America, just as well as the common citizens lost their access to Canada.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Have a good night as well. And as the public dissatisfaction mounts, the coming vote will be a decisive moment for the future of leadership and policy in our country. Let us, as a people, get rid of divisiveness. Let us, as leaders, promote unity and inclusivity, working towards policies that benefit the broader population and reduce or eliminate polarization. The measure, I said, my Straight Dog family, of a good government lies in its ability to uplift the poorest members of society. A government that prioritizes the well-being of its most vulnerable citizens demonstrates true commitment to justice and equality. By focusing on policies that reduce poverty, ensure access to education, healthcare, and basic necessities, we must look for a government that can create a more equitable society. My Straight Dog family, when the poorest of us are empowered, they contribute to the broader economic and social fabric, leading to a more stable and prosperous nation. And my Straight Talk family, ultimately, let's look for a government that's effective. As the government's effectiveness should not be judged by the wealth or influence of its elite, but how well it serves those who have the least. That is what the country is looking for, and the people cannot wait for the next election. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank you, the many viewers, the many listeners, those of you who sent emails and those of you who called. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's speed, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be good to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, my Straight Talk family, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you to the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep and my guide over every step I take. He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Now I'm on my way, with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow.